Thank you, and welcome everybody. Thanks for taking the time out of your schedule, out of your this hot day here in Nova Scotia. If that's where you are, it's a lovely day. So we're going to spend the next I don't want to say hour because we're already under an hour. So we'll spend the next few minutes looking more closely at WeVideo. This is an introductory session, so I'm going to go through the startup, what the interface looks like, diving right into WeVideo, and then showing you some of the little more tips and tricks and advanced techniques with it. And if you want to know more about it, I have another session on Friday where I'll kind of bring in some more advanced techniques in my session on Friday morning. So just to kind of give you a overview. So what Megan has posted in the chat box is my interactive agenda, something I've been playing with the last few days or so, just to kind of provide you with a takeaway and also bring in a more active learning component for you as viewers of this session. So you're going to get kind of at a quick glance a whole bunch of information there. I know a lot of you are doing the Who Are You form, and I appreciate that. Great to see that HRCE is in the house here today, and I recognize a lot of names. So thank you. If you haven't done that form, it takes about 2 minutes. We've got the agenda, some vocabulary that's going to come up. I got a little prediction activity, some tips. That activity box in the lower third quadrant is a hyperlink, which you can go and explore that after. There is an exit survey that I would appreciate if you just take 2 or 3 minutes to do after the session in the middle bottom quadrant there. And then the resources are they're more up to date than that one. WeVideo, I'm just going to point this out right now. I've got a WeVideo link there, but WeVideo, if you don't have it, you can get it. It's a free trial basis. It's your 30-day free trial for educators, and you can sign up and play with it after this if you don't have it. Now, for those of you in HRCE, if you are interested in it, let either Megan or myself know, and we will get you signed up, and you can have access to it, and then we can support you in your classroom further on down the road when we get back to a educational setting. So that's just kind of the ins and outs on that agenda. Here's kind of the content of the workshop. We're going to go really over it, but we're going to dive in really quickly on it. But as Megan said, please feel free to ask questions along the way. So what is WeVideo? WeVideo is really a multi-track video editor, but it does so much more than that. If you are familiar with iMovie, it's very similar to that because it's like got these tracks and it can look very confusing. But I'm going to say if you are familiar and you played it all with iMovie, you're going to flatten that learning curve considerably. WeVideo can be intimidating at first glance. Can I present? Sure. How about I do that? Tell me, is that better? Is that better, Allison? Megan will have to tell me. I don't see anything on my screen now.
Yep, that's better.
Okay, so I'm going to do that, but I'm also going to be going back out into my browser because we're going to be looking at WeVideo. So I'll have to just change the size of the browser, but no problem. So WeVideo, what I've done is I have taken screenshots and circled on the slides what we're going to be looking at, but this is more for your viewing after. I think I put the link in your agenda there for you. So this can support you after. I'm going to go through this session basically in WeVideo live, and then I'll just duck back to this slide deck ever so often just to make sure that I haven't missed anything. So, okay, I'm going to go over here now. I have logged into WeVideo, and this is what it looks like. Give me one moment. Megan, does that look okay?
Yep, you're good.
Thank you. This is what WeVideo looks like once you've logged in. I can tell I've logged in up here on the right-hand side. I've logged in through my GNESPES email for access to this, okay? I have two profiles, my Gmail and my GNESPES, and I don't really use my Gmail one. So once I've logged in, I've got this screen. It opens up and it defaults to projects, okay? So we're going to get going. And in the lower right-hand side down here, I'm going to create a new project, and I just have to give this a name, IT Camp 2020. And you can see at this point, I have the option to do personal, collaborative, or shared, okay? The collaborative aspect works really well if you want to do this in the classroom with students, or perhaps even during an e-learning situation. This will work beautifully, okay? I'm going to do personal today. This is just me. I'm going to click next. All right, so I can add media saying, okay, here's some stuff that you've got there, Chris, and do you want to bring it in? I don't really want to, don't need any of this because I'm going to do it live here. So, okay, I've got my video. I'm going to create this video. I now get templates. I can select all these great templates, not so great templates. I'm going with blank. I'm going to start editing. Okay, so it says start editing. So it's immediately saying we're editing. We don't have any video to edit. So that's going to be our first thing that we need to do. But you can see on the screen what I mean by kind of going, whoa, what's going on here, right? The thing is, folks, is that we might be intimidated at first glance at this interface, but guess who is not? Our students, right? They're familiar, they're comfortable. They're like, let me at it, please. So they're going to look at this and they're going to find their way around it. I know we all like to know as educators to have a bit more experience than our students. So that's where this session comes in. You're going to have that experience with it. Okay, so what we're going to do here is now that I've got my interface up, I'm going to start, you can see it says projects. I'm going to go over here to dashboard. I'm going to just come to dashboard. These are our tabs here, okay? So I'm on my dashboard, and you can see I've got options, what I can do with WeVideo. I can create a video. I can record, which is kind of, well, when I click that, you'll see what it does. It gives me webcam, screen, or screen and webcam. So some of you might have been using Screencastify, but I tend to like using WeVideo now for doing my screencasting. So I'm just going to come back here, going to go back to dashboard. I can do, so that's what I get with recording. I can create GIFs, and I can also create podcasts. Podcasts would be audio only. Okay, so I'm going to just come back over here to projects. Oh, and of course it did that. Anyways, I might as well the one thing I don't like about WeVideo, and I don't know if you've got the same opinion or not, Megan, it's just kind of the file structure, the way that things are saved. I find it a little bit confusing in that. They are doing an update this summer. I would expect it'll be coming out sometime next month. So I think they're going to have a different interface for the way that the file saving is done. Now, I say that that's a kind of a drawback, but it's also a strength when we go to export, and you'll see. Okay, so I'm back here. I am going to shoot some video in a second, but I just want to come back and talk about the interface here for one moment. When we look at this interface, and I see a lot of you are grades 4, 5, 6, and up, but Angela, you're representing grade 1, 2. So you're going to look this, you go, no way that my grade 1s and 2s could handle this. Here's a little hidden trick, is we go over here, and there's our menu, okay? And if we go down here, we got a lot of these are repeated in other places in the interface, but this one I haven't found in any other place. We want to switch it to storyboard, and look what happens. Those tracks down below are now gone. It's a simplified interface, and we can work through this. We've got, hey, those are pretty decent icons too, right? It's telling us what they are. So that's a tip for the little. So when I, see a lot of you teaching grades, the upper grades, they won't have a problem with the multi-track, what they call timeline. They won't have a problem with this. But for our littles, we want the storyboard. So that's a big tip and trick right there. Okay, so but we're going to work right now in timeline. So I'm going to come back to this. All right, and I'm just checking my notes, make sure I'm following my slides here. This timeline is where all the videos are going to live. So I'm going to do the get a video now, and I'm going to shoot one right now. So I've got the option again right from there, webcam, screen, and webcam. I'm only going to do my webcam. It's a good hair day, so why not, right? I was expecting a cat at any moment, but unfortunately no cats have showed up. I've got my options for cameras and my options for a microphone. Get a countdown. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Introduction to WeVideo. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. I hope that you will have one takeaway that you can try in your classroom from this session. So there's my video. I've got the option to do it again. For our purposes, it's good enough. It appears in the tray. You can see it popping up there. And it also dropped it in my timeline. I also see it over here on the right-hand side in the preview window. So when I look at my preview window, and you might initially at first glance go, wow, that's really kind of blurry. Like, come on, doesn't it do it any better than that? It does, okay? The preview window just shows you a really quick rendering of it. When it goes to export, it crunches it and it puts it into whatever level of graphics that you want, right? So we'll look at that after. But I've got my video here. I can see it, and it appears in the timeline. So if for some reason I wanted to delete that, I'll get into that. It's not gone, okay? It's gone from my timeline down here, but it's still there, okay? So I can still bring that in. So I'm going to take and bring that. I'm going to just simply drag that down to a timeline. Now, maybe, again, I'm going to delete it. I'm going to drag that down. Maybe I'm going to put it down here. Notice it won't go. And that's because it's got audio. That's an audio track timeline right there. I'm going to put this one right here. Maybe I made a mistake and I want to drag and drop. It's pretty intuitive. I should have mentioned at the outset that WeVideo works on Chromebooks, and that is a real app killer. It is amazing to be able to do this level of video editing on a Chromebook. So that's really been a big feature since here in Nova Scotia, we have 1 or 2 Chromebooks in the classrooms. All right, so I've got my video in there. I've dragged it. Now you'll notice that it's orange. When I click away, it's gray. When I click on orange, it's active. That's really important because when you get multi-tracks going, you kind of got to make sure that you're in the right one, and it has to be orange, okay? So orange means active. Down over here in the right-hand corner is my zoom. Again, very handy when you are working on editing. Notice how my video, 15 seconds worth, I can now see it on one screen. I like that a little better, okay? So that's really handy to, especially when you're dealing with Chromebooks, which have smaller real estate for their screens. I'm gonna go over here to the right-hand side, and I'm gonna, I like audio in my videos. I like music in my videos. They just ramp it up, and that's in part of my session on Friday as well. But I can go to one of my audio files here, and I can find a track that I like. Now, I can also go up here to WeVideo and see what they've got for their stock track, okay? And these are all Creative Commons. We've got the rights. You can find one. Heard that one once or twice, maybe? Or that one? Yeah, we tend to use those ones the most often, right? At the top. Here's another tip or trick. You can go to, I hope you can see this all right, but if you go to I just have to double check YouTube audio library. Okay. This is a wicked source of Creative Commons type music that you can download and input into WeVideo. So look at all these tracks. This is all, they're just audio. Oh, that's pretty cool. I like that one. I could download that. But here's the other thing you want to do. Back up here. We want to
Chris, can I just interrupt you for a quick second?
Yeah, sure.
There was a question about how do you make a collection of audio tracks?
A collection of audio tracks. I think if you go back here and go to My Media, and I think I can go, I'm just trying to see where I create, oh, there it is, new folder, and I could go audio, create that, and then what I would say is that you can have, I would drag all the audio files into that folder. That would be a collection of it. I don't know if that answers your question, but that's what I would suggest doing. They've changed the layout here a little bit on this, and what I want to do, you can search it here by, there it is. You can search or filter but back here in YouTube by attribution not required. So if I select that, these are all free to use. I don't have to give credit to the artist or anything. They've been they've signed off on them. So have fun with this. There are some great songs here. You can tell by their length and their mood and everything. It's pretty awesome. So I'm just going to close that out just because I don't, and this is in my slide deck. I don't want it to tie up some bandwidth there. I'm going to come back here and I'm going to find an audio track that I like that I got from the YouTube library. Yeah, there it is. Weird name, Water Truck. Okay, so if I select Water Truck, I'm going to drag this down. And again, I want to put it in video. It's red, won't let me. But look at this. There we go. Audio. Boom, it's in. Okay, so now I've got my audio file and I've got my video file. So I'm building the tracks here. The audio file comes in at a pretty high volume. Okay, you can tell that it's at a high volume because the slider over here is at 100%. All right, and I've also got 100% volume going there as well. So I also want to kind of give this a little bit of a space before I just grabbed that track and moved it over. That way I kind of get my intro only with audio. So let's see what happens here. I'm going to preview it. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to... All right, not bad. I can live with that for now. So I'm going to come back here. You notice this blue, this is like the playhead, and you can move the playhead back and forth, and this is really handy when you get a longer video going. I'm just touching my mouse and moving back and forth. So I'm going to come back here, and I'm going to say 100%, yeah, maybe not quite. The other thing I want to do is when my video starts, you'll notice there's this blue line down here. I want to touch that and drag it down. And that's going to give me that fade effect. So watch what happens now. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Introduction to WeVideo. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. I hope that you will have... All right, that's a lot better. So there we go. I've got a very... And what did that take me? All of, really 2 minutes to shoot the video and bring in an audio track. Now, there's a lot more I can do with that, and we'll get into a little bit more of that. But the next thing I want to show you is back up here on this video line. It's one thing to sit here and go, okay, when did I start talking so I can adjust this? But here's something that's really, really valuable within WeVideo. And I'm coming over here to the tracks on the left, and notice that little down arrow, the sharp tooth pointing down. Okay, I want to click that And see what happens? It's really tiny. It gives me 3 track settings, basically the track heights. I want to select the biggest one. Watch what happens. Boom. Now I get to see my audio track when I am speaking in that video. So I can tell, I can do a little more editing here. I can keep my volume up, and I want to kind of line it up. I'm going to eyeball it. Oops. Oops, it's still, there we go. There we go. And that's what I wanted. And now I'm going to bring it down. So see how I'm able to fine tune by just bringing up that audio track on the video. Now let's go back, and it should be even more. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Introduction to WeVideo. All right, cool. That worked out well. I'm happy with that. All right, so we're just going to move that playhead there. And that, if I don't want to see that audio track, I'm happy with it now. I can make it smaller so you can see. I like the middle one there. Look at that sharp tooth. It's there for all of them, okay? All right, so we've added an audio track. We got some video. There's many options up here as well. You know, we've got record. We could narrate if we just had perhaps something on the screen. Maybe I wanted to put this. Now, you're going to see what this is here. This on the preview window right now is just, that's a Google slide. All right, so what I did is I went into my Google Slides. I created a slide and downloaded it as a PNG file, and then imported it, that import, and it lands in my tray. So WeVideo works really well with that. And so I can bring that in, plop that there. So now I've got to text some, you know, a screen. It's not, doesn't really kind of applies if I was wrapping this up. But my audio track kind of goes on there. Let's just see. Yep. So I'm going to start the video from this point in your classroom from this session. Okay, that worked out well. So I've got that slide, which just kind of provides some information. Again, just grabbed it from my Google slide deck that I had done earlier. But perhaps I need an intro for this because I'm jumping right into this video. And I don't have a slide deck ready for this, okay? So I need to add a title. Well, if I go up here and I look at text and I select text, this is where WeVideo has all these templates that you can use, and not just for titles, anywhere within your video, endings, middles, beginnings, wherever. So find one that you like and click on it and watch what happens. I kind of like the look of that one. It shows up in the preview window. I don't even have it in my timeline yet, but there it is, okay? And you can see it's got an animation to it. That's kind of cool. So I think might be too many lines of text there. I think it's just going to be unbalanced. Here's one that the kids tend to like. That's pretty good. I'm going to grab it. I'm going to put in my timeline. And it didn't go, but I'm going to put it there. So sometimes it'll fit, and other times you need another timeline. I'm going to shrink that down. And I've got this in my timeline now. Let's see what it looks like. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Pretty good, except it says top text, main text, bottom text. What do I do? Well, this is another thing that is not readily apparent within WeVideo. You'll notice I've got my tracks selected. They're orange, but when I click on video or text tracks, there's a pencil that shows up right there, okay? That pencil is key. It's crucial. Watch what happens. I'm going to click the pencil now, and it opens up an editing window. So now I can edit this slide, all right? And you think you should be able to edit it over here, but it's right here. So I'm going to just type in welcome. And I'm just doing this quickly. Notice I could change the colors as well, and I can change the size. I have to click on manual. And really, I don't want that one that big. I want my WeVideo bigger. Yeah, I guess I see what it's doing. It's not really letting me do that quite. So I will do that. Good enough for now. Okay, so I'm going to save changes. And if I go over here, let's see how it plays now. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Introduction to WeVideo. Hey, not bad. Okay, so I've got now my title, I've got some video, I've got a slide to say thank you, and I've got an audio track. You can see how quickly and easy it is to develop a really good video with this. So the kids are gonna like I said, they're all YouTubers. They're playing on TikTok, so this is right up their alley. The learning curve for them is significantly flatter. But even knowing this now, you're going to feel much more confident when you go in with your students and they go, "How do I do this? How do I do this?" But we're going to go on. We're going to go for another 15, 20 minutes so I can get to some of the more helpful features of WeVideo beyond this.
Chris, just while you're on the topic, Allison wants to know, do we always have to have the main video in video 1? I was going to answer her, but I figure you might be able to kind of talk about that since you've got it up.
Sure, great question. No, we don't. We don't have to have it in video 1. As a matter of fact, see the 3 dots, the snowman, snow person over here? Let's click on that, okay? So you can notice I could lock this track. I can do a few other things here. Okay, I can delete a track. I've got that option there as well. Okay, so maybe I want to keep this locked. I don't want anybody touching it. That would be really valuable when you're doing a collaborative video. You don't want the kids to touch this particular part of the slide, of the track. Now, Allison, I know that's not what you're asking. I'm going to get there, okay? Because up here in the left-hand corner are some buttons that really don't jump up out at you. And if I select the plus, I get the option to add a new track. So I can say, oh, I need another audio track or I need another video track. And in this case, let's add a video track. So I can add another one. So again, we start to get into the real estate of the screen. And you can see why you might want to shrink the size of the tracks. But here we are, video 3 now. I could move everything up to video 3. But what is important, and this comes in one of the more advanced techniques with shooting video, is you have to think of these layers as a cake. Now, I love cake, and so this is my analogy that I like to tell the kids too. Cake, so the bottom layer, middle layer, and top layer. And you have to think about what's in the foreground, midground, background. In this video, not too important, not yet, but it can be, okay? So you do really want to start with your video. I would always say start it in track 1, video 1. If you have to play with it, it's easy enough to go and drag it up. It's like I can drag that one up there, okay? And now I'm all in video 2. Will it impact anything that I've done so far? Not really. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. Okay, so that's a good question. If I want to keep my track down here, here's another button that is not apparent, and it stymied me for a little while. Like, where's the friggin' undo button? It's right there. Okay, undo. Right there, right in front of me, but it just doesn't jump out. You think it should be up here, but it's not. It's right there. Okay, so now that I've got my tracks kind of where I want to be, I hope that answers your question, Allison. And if I don't need this, I can delete it, right? I can just go here and delete. Part of the issue with using WeVideo for the first few times is just learning where all this stuff lives and hides. It's like Google at its best, right? They hide everything. There's so much there, but you got to find it. So after this session, you know, go and sign up for WeVideo and play with it. You've got like a month of free play coming up here with August, and you can export these videos to your Google Drive quite easily, and then impress your friends and family. Okay, so we've got our basic video going here, and I've added my text. I'm going to throw in here, I'm going to just see if I can get, okay. I'm going to throw in here a transition. Kids love transitions. Where do the transitions live? The transitions live right up here. And there's a whack of them, and they look really good. There's a lot of professional looking ones. So like you can get, we kind of get tired of the ones that appear in iMovie, and you all know iMovie when you see one, right? Because it's got the same audio track. It's nice to have WeVideo as another tool to be using. So I'm going to bring in this one here. Now I can bring in that, and it's going to do a preview in there. And if it's red, it's not going to let me do it, okay? But watch this. If it's green, I can put it there. So if I go red, nope, can't do it. Cross dissolve down on this track, yes, I can do it. I get this icon as a transition indicator. Let's see what happens. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to... Didn't get anything. And I think that's because I know exactly why this is. Because my title is on the layer above. And this is why it's writing over. It's the top layer of the cake. It's what we see first. So see that? It's not showing that. If I take this title out, I'll take it out here for a moment. Good afternoon, everybody. See how I get that? So that's the importance of layering with the tracks. So I'll put that back in. And if I wanted that transition to work, I would need it to be on the same track. I would need to have my title on the same track. I'm not for the purpose of this. I'm going to take this transition out, and I'm going to put it in at the end here. Watch what happens. I'm going to go here, cross dissolve. I'm going to drag it in between my video and my screenshot. All right, now we should have a transition that works. In your classroom from this session. Hey, that worked out pretty well. Okay, so that transition worked, and I have now a pretty solid, how many second video? 20-second video. And we know that shorter is better with instructional media. And by the way, this is saving all the time. You don't have to hit save, auto save, and it's saving to WeVideo's servers. Okay, the problem is right now is that I have a audio track that's going to go on forever, right? So if I do this, and I got this huge audio track, and it's going to play on forever, and my video go on, dark screen, not cool. So I'm going to bring this back over here. I've got my audio track. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the very end of it. It's a long song. Woo! Water truck. Holy cow. I'm going to grab it right here, and I'm going to bring this down, okay? And this is what I can do. I can shrink it like that. There's another thing I can do. This is a little faster. Like all tech, 6 ways to do the same thing. I'm going to come back to my timeline here. Okay? This is where my video ends. I want my playhead right here. Okay. So my video ends there. Really, that track, I'd like to have a nice fade out, maybe fade to black. But there's kind of where I could have it end, maybe, 22 seconds. Well, let's say. Close enough. All right, so here's what I can do. Notice that it's orange. That's important because what I'm going to do is go up here and I'm going to hit the scissors, okay? If I touch the scissors, it's going to split this track. Now, if I'm doing this here, it's seamless. Nothing happens. But what I have done now is I've taken this track, kind of put in like, I've perforated it, and I can delete the rest of that. Now it's gone. Now I don't have to worry about shrinking it, and this is going to fade the boat out completely. Whoops. Good afternoon, everybody. So really what I should do is I should add another transition here. I'm just gonna dip to black at the end. And now I'm going to line up my audio to kind of fade back in. You'll notice that it kind of got loud again. I don't know why, but so see how I can do it at various points too. And I know I start talking around there. Okay, so let's see if that goes. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Introduction to WeVideo. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. I hope that you will have one takeaway that you can try in your classroom from this session. Awesome. There we go. So I got a 22-second video. Pretty happy with that. Okay. I'm going to show you one other thing, and this is a little more advanced, but it's very valuable when we are doing instructional media videos. I'm going to get more into this on Friday too. But I'm going to come back here to my media, and my media are all things that I've imported and you know, brought in through either YouTube or my camera on my phone. Like, it's all seamless now, right? You can bring it all in. So let's see here. I'm going to find, I took a screenshot of something. You can see it right here. Okay, so I took a screenshot of this tool, and it was the key to a marking tool, and my participants needed to see it. So that's why I took this picture. So if I was wanting to talk about this, I could take this picture. There's what it looks like as a screenshot. It's the highlighter tool, fantastic tool. I'm going to drag that down into my timeline, okay? I'm going into purposely on track 2, video 2. I'm going to put it there. Notice what happens. This is our layer cake scenario again. I've got a perfectly positioned screen grab, right off of over my face. And it's the best I've looked all day. So, okay, good for now. What this is going to do, everybody, welcome to Introduction to WeVideo. Thank you for coming. I need to change that a little bit. So you can notice that it's in the orange right now in my track there. I'm going to go up here and, oh yeah, there it is. I'm going to click on the pencil, and I'm going to, so what I did there, just I did that quickly. I select that screen grab. I select the pencil, and I get my advanced editing menu. I can do a few things here, okay? This is a cool feature of this. I can scale this back. So notice how I can change the scale of that. Woo! I'm going to put it like that. I can also go over to the screen, and I get the 4-headed arrow, and I can put it over there. That's where I want it. Now let's see what happens. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Introduction to WeVideo. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. I hope that you will have one takeaway that you can try. Pretty cool, eh? So I could start talking about that graphic. Even though it's not there, it looks there, right? So that's a feature. Kids love doing that too. But that's really, like, if we're back in an e-learning situation and you need to show them, you know, how a particular aspect of an app or a tool works, you can highlight things. You can grab them from the screen, drop it in there, and you can move that all around. Like, you could, you know, there's so much you can do for it. You can zoom in, like I showed you. You could say, hey, you know what? Here's what green means. Here's what red means. It's really a cool feature, and it adds to the video. In some ways, it's kind of like green screening, but it's not green screening. And you can see I've got a green screen picture up there. You can green screen in WeVideo. It works quite well, quite easily. And again, I'm going to kind of dive into that a bit more on Friday. And if you can't come Friday, don't worry about it, because guess what? It's recorded. So now that I've got my video finished, and I am going to leave that in there. I'm just going to come back here. I just want to make it a little bit smaller. Okay, good enough. All right, my video is almost finished. I need to export it. Where do I go to do that? I go up here to finish. So I'm going to click on finish, and here's what happens. Title is going to be IT Camp Example. All right, now that I've got it, here's my last step before it exports. It's going to say, you know, we want it as a video, but there's your option if it was a GIF. A GIF is going to just, you know, make it very, very short, only a few seconds. It defaults to lower def. I always do high def. Works quite well. Doesn't take that much longer. You get to pick your thumbnail, what it wants to look like in your WeVideo kind of location where it saves. Not if you upload it to YouTube. This is not going to be the thumbnail necessarily. But here's the other thing, and you got to be aware of this. Look at the options down here. Where do you want to save? It defaults to the WeVideo download cloud, which you get, you know, pretty much huge file amount. Don't worry about how many you have. But throw on that one as well. Select your Google Drive. You can, you know, maybe you want to put it in the YouTube right away. Maybe you got, I'm not connected. I haven't connected mine. That would be through some advanced settings. I always just upload to YouTube after I've done, after it's done rendering through my Google Drive. But I'm going to export this right now. Here's what it says. It's going to say that it's queued up, okay? And it's going to render it right now. And I'm good. I'm done. Basically, it's going to send me an email, and it's going to say, your video is all set. And it will, because I selected my Google Drive, it'll appear in my drive. And then I can share it far and wide, or keep it all to myself. It's up to me. But you can see this one's taking, you know, somewhere in the neighborhood of 3 minutes to crunch it and up the definition of the quality of the video. So I can go back and watch it again, but I don't even have to, you know, I don't even have to keep that window open. I can go back and I can start my next project. So this is really valuable. It's so quick and easy that our students can master this in no time. So that's it for the nuts and bolts of this session, everybody. If you've got questions, please feel free to ask. I hope you feel a little more comfortable with the WeVideo interface. Again, if I had one tip, is just go sign up, try it, okay? Play with it over the course of the next few weeks. Have some fun with it. Make that get to know the teacher video for your parents, since we're going to be on online learning for our parent-teacher conferences, and maybe meet the teacher night, or do it that way, or meet the staff. There's so many ways that you could tie this into your first week of being back in the classroom, or not. Make a hand washing video, right? Anyways, thank you all very much, and I'm going to open it up. I'm going to come back to my presentation now and see if you've got any questions.
So Chris, just from a little bit earlier when you were talking about the audio tracks and you were using the YouTube ones, Madeline had asked if you could elaborate a little bit on using like the whole Creative Commons issue. If you want to talk a little bit to that.
Sure. So through the YouTube audio library, yeah, you're if you search, and the ones that I use, yeah, they've changed the layout of this a little bit. So if you do attribution not required, right now we're seeing all of these. You might have to give attribution, but I always just go right here first thing, and And now I get, only the ones that I can feel free to download. I can, download this audio track, and it's just a generic type. They're good to use, and you can change. Look at this. Look at the genre. Like, I only want rock. Yeah, I do. You can select, and it's great. Genre. There it is. So look at all the selections that I've got. So I'm going to say. So now I've got, and they're always adding to this. Like, look, there's a couple that were added a couple months ago, right? So it's a really cool feature that is available to us and your students. And, and we should always be making sure that we are citing proper attribution to artists and pictures and the photographers as well. So anything within the WeVideo interface here, any of their templates, you're free to use. There's a lot here as well, but they're all good to go.
Chris, so Twyla also has a question. She asks, did you say that you could export the video to Google Drive? And also, do students have to have an account?
Yeah, great question. Okay, so Twyla, I don't think the in my drive here, it doesn't show. I've got a drive in my drive there. I'm not going to get into all that nastiness that is in my drive there, all the files. It's already probably there. I probably got an email on my GNESPES saying your video's ready. So yeah, it's right in. Yeah, I got it. I got my no reply from @WeVideo is telling me it's already there, and it just goes into a folder that the program automatically creates. Do students need an account? Well, this is where if you're in the HRCE, Megan or myself, you ask to get into WeVideo. We give you this code, and that code allows you to have full access to the full features of WeVideo. The free version, it's not all accessible. There's a watermark as well. If you get it through us, and if you're not in our RCE, talk to your tech support team and find out if they have licenses available for you. They might. Okay, we do an HRCE, so I'm just going to speak about that. You get in through HRCE, you go through the process in the window here. You can't see it because there is a sign up down here, right, that you would click on and enter in a code. And once you enter in that code, you get the full version. And then Megan or myself or Mario have to just switch you over to teacher. And then the only thing that the teacher account does is allow you to add students. And so we have a number of students in here right now that are from last year that teachers have set up. And it's kind of like Classroom. You kind of set up folders and things. Now we have to do some purging coming up in a few weeks' time to make sure that we're under the licenses. That
I was just gonna jump in and say that if you're in HRCE, I'm probably going to go in the week before school starts and purge everyone from the premium so we can start fresh. And what we'll do is we'll make sure that the information is out there. Typically what we do is we have you fill out a form. Again, if you're from HRCE, you fill up the form that just says who you are, what school you're at, and how many students you want to use it with, if you want to use it with your students. And we'll send you the new code and all that information. But Nancy, to answer your question, if you just email, I put it in the chat there, tilt@hrce.ca with the school that you're at. I want to say it's Halifax West, but I can't remember. One of us will get back to you with that code, and you can use that until then. And then you won't lose anything when we boot you from the premium account. It's just when you go in, all of a sudden you won't have that same access, and then you'll just get the new code and put that back in. And Chris, to just kind of go back to when you mentioned about the Google Drive export, Twyla, I don't know if you noticed, but you do have to click the Google Drive button to make sure that it does go to your Google Drive. Otherwise, it just defaults to the the WeVideo library, which isn't public. It just leaves it there until you either download it or export it somewhere else. So yes, you can, like Chris said, you can export it through your Google Drive. You just have to make sure you click that Drive button on that finalizing page that says you want to also send it there. Sorry, Chris.
No, that's all right. Yeah, thank you. And yeah, there's that last thing right there. Okay. Yeah, and be sure to select the Google Drive icon. So I'm just going through my slides to make sure that I didn't miss anything. But I think in the walkthrough, I've touched on everything that I have in this slide deck for you folks. So if you get lost, you've got access to the slide deck, and you go, oh yeah, here's where that lives, or so. So yeah, and I got on the undo button there. Now this is really important, everybody. This last tip: your videos aren't going to be perfect. Okay. You got to let that go. All right. You really, really do. Go with it. Guess what? Edit it out. Don't do stop and start, stop and start. Keep going. Maybe restart within that same video take, and just cut it out after. It is so much easier. I think that's how I got all my gray hair, is by thinking that my videos had to be done in one shot. And once I got over that, my videos just kind of, they were more natural and they were better too. So let it go, have some fun with it, and know that WeVideo is your friend.